Dyson Pizza contains descriptions of peril, natural disasters, and kaiju. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
Hello, wayward listeners. Welcome back to Dyson Pizza, an actual play show that follows a ragtag band of heroes who are chasing after Tang Kai, an ancient dragon god bent on burning down the world of Mirios. My name is Derek, he, him pronouns, and I am the guide for our lovable band of heroes.
Hello, I'm Mya Worrell, they, them pronouns, please. And I play Zaba. We know him, we love him, the party naturalist, some hate him, Masked Guardian of Kokuru, banned and chosen, self-proclaimed releaser Tang Kai, currently not afflicted. We found the doctor, so I'm doing pretty fine and dandy.
What it is, Sea-Doos. Me name is Justin, he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Driftwood, they, them pronouns. Driftwood is the party doctor, and they're currently getting drunk with unkies and crunk with monkeys.
Hello. My name is Kyla. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I play Ernie, or Ernie for short, a skilled spy having some difficulties in their career path of choice. Short-term goals is to survive. Long-term goals, maybe snag a cushy job with that buff guy, Scallop. Who knows? We'll see.
Is it your long-term goal to kill Scallop?
Don't tell him that. That's the long-term goal.
Oh, it's
I didn't put enough. Sorry, I didn't put enough wink into that.
That's great. Hey, you know what? Zip, I didn't hear it. Once again, what did you call our audience today, Justin? Sea-Doos?
Sea-Doos.
Sea-Doos. Once again, Sea-Doos, we're playing Quest. It's a rules-light system that focuses on storytelling and world building by the Adventure Guild. Everything we will roll will be with a D20. And yeah, last time on Dyson Pizza, our band of heroes recovered from their injuries. They learned more about the situation in Noro and some of the history with a band of pirates that attacked 10 years earlier. Driftwood found a jar, and inside of that jar was a sentient being that they released at the end of last episode, which was a Nimbus Cloud, which is like the cloud in Dragon Ball. I'll just say it right here for everyone. So now we pick back up. Our heroes are on the beach, having released this Nimbus Cloud in front of them, who is now standing there, kind of floating. His like cloud-like arms are like kind of. It looks like the pose as if they're crossing their arms and leaning against air, as this faceless cloud observes you all.
I forgot the cloud had arms.
Well, it's not like arms, but like the cloud's like making it look like arms.
Then the cloud has arms.
The cloud's like in it's more like a pose.
There's still arms in the pose.
It's like the rug from. It's like the magic carpet from Aladdin.
The tassels.
You know?
The tassels are the rug's arms.
Anthropomorphized.
Okay. Yeah, it's like that.
Okay, as long as the cloud doesn't have opposable thumbs, we should.
Cloud
be good.
does not have opposable thumbs.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's why they couldn't open the jar.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. The jar they were trapped inside.
Wait, the suggestion that you can open something from the inside if you have thumbs.
I
believe it.
It can happen.
It's the next step in evolution. Okay. That's a story for another time, for another podcast. Opening jars with Justin. And Driftwood.
We'll do it. Driftwood points. Whoa, who is that?
What's that?
The cloud kind of floats over to you and like gets up like in your face.
Ugh.
And like it's like very fluffy, like ruffles your pompadour. And you get a sense it's like meant as like a warm greeting. Like it's not threatening. It's like ruffles in a non-threatening way.
What's the temperature? What's like the air pressure right now? Did it change? Like did like a blast of air come out like all around?
Your hair is definitely a little bit blown dry.
Oh God!
Oh no!
This won't do. This hair. Yeah. This is a hair don't. So I reach out, trying to like touch cloud dough, and what happens?
You like touch the cloud. The cloud lets you touch him, and it's like a cloud. It's like a pillow. It's very fluffy, like very somehow it's like magically like really like strong. Like you could the cloud like when you start to touch the cloud like swoops down to like your feet
Oh.
and like gestures for you to like step on it.
Okay.
Wow.
I turn tail and run the other direction.
The cloud kind of is like what, and then kind of like floats up to you, Zaba,
Driftwood
and
goes,
gestures to do the same thing.
Driftwood's like, help! Somebody help! Oh my god!
Driftwood, come back here.
No,
Ernie,
I'm not
Ernie
going near
just,
that thing.
Ernie just watches this like shocked.
Ernie, go get Driftwood.
Okay.
No, you can't make me.
I run after Driftwood.
Okay.
Just the scene of y'all running around the beach.
So yeah, Zaba, you get a sense that this cloud it appears friendly and it is trying to get you to hop on it.
All right.
Zaba, no, don't do it.
Get back here, Driftwood. Where are you going?
No, you can't grab me.
What if I kind of like I'm standing right, go poof.
Okay. You
Just
like
kinda,
you like fall
like,
on
on a
the
beanbag.
yeah, like yeah, exactly. Like on as Kyla said, just fall back onto like a beanbag.
Yeah, you do that. And all of a sudden the Nimbus cloud, like you don't fall through it. You like land on top of the cloud, and then the cloud begins to like rise up, and you're like you're like hovering like off the beach, like 10 feet off the beach now.
Okay,
10
I
feet?
stopped chasing Driftwood at this
Terrifying.
point.
I look over.
Are you okay up there?
How do I get this thing down?
Zaba?
I'm
Do you
like,
say that out loud?
no, that's not me. That's not Zaba. That's Maya. Speaking. Zaba says, lower, please.
The Nimbus cloud lowers
All right.
slowly, and you're back down on the ground.
Driftwood comes back as like, this is dangerous. We shouldn't mess around with this type of dangerous stuff. This is bad.
We already opened the jar.
Ernie is at this point standing is like still very far away, just watching.
Ernie, get over here.
Ernie just walks over.
I've heard of tales of these tempting objects on the shores of Noro. We shouldn't mess around with this stuff. I regret ever grabbing that jar. This is no, I don't like this. This is bad.
Tell me more. Tell me more about these suspicious objects on the Isles of Noro. What forms did they take?
Okay,
Did they take the shapes of clouds?
No,
Jars?
I'm just afraid of heights.
I look at the cloud.
Driftwood, exposure therapy. Get on my back.
No, I'm
I'm
no
shorter
way.
than you. Wait,
No
no.
way.
No, I'm not. I walk
yeah,
over.
Ernie's
I walk over,
taller.
compare heights.
Yo, they're
Never
all
mind.
are like
Yeah, Zaba, you like look over and you see the cloud like sitting on the ground, staring out into the ocean, looking like dejected a little bit.
I like the implication that I understand what you mean by looking out. Yes. I assume this cloud does not have eyes because terrifying.
The cloud does not have eyes, but it is staring out into the ocean. Or just facing the ocean, sitting on the ground, like if it had shoulders slouched, looking a little dejected of the suspicion that has been cast towards it.
Yeah,
That's a lot to read into a cloud.
Driftwood's eyes are kind of like wild. I'm like, I'm not going on that. Zaba, you might like being a bird and in the sky and playing around with Tang Kai. And Ernie, I don't know if you live in the clouds or something, but I am perfectly
I do.
fine on the ground. You do. Well, not
Well,
me.
we don't have moving clouds, but Driftwood, do you want to take a swim? You're looking a little.
Ugh. Hold on. Let me sit down.
You sit down next to the cloud. Sidon and the cloud are playing patty cake.
Side was just watching this.
Been here the whole time.
Driftwood kind of
Yeah.
like scoots over. It's like, I don't want to stay away from me.
Zaba and Ernie, you two are the only two left standing. What do the two of you do?
I look to Ernie and I say, I gesture toward the cloud.
I look at you, and then I look at the cloud, and then I look back at you, and then I look at the cloud.
Why not you take us why not you try?
Is there like a coconut shell nearby, or like something like round and heavy-ish?
Yeah, there's a coconut nearby.
Okay, I pick it up and I walk over to the cloud and I put the coconut on the cloud.
The cloud holds the coconut.
Thank you. I just watch the cloud and the coconut.
The cloud hovers up to your level, Ernie.
I take the coconut and then I take out my dagger and then I put the dagger on the cloud.
It stays. Ernie, because you opened the jar, you feel like the cloud seems to be able to understand everyone, but like you get a sense that the cloud and you can talk a little bit more. Like
Ernie is completely unfamiliar with this feeling.
yeah, it's weird. You're like, this is weird. I don't really play with magic.
Driftwood gets up and looks at the little coconut and dagger on the cloud and is like, ooh.
You want to put something on the cloud, Ernie? I mean, Driftwood.
All Driftwood
Want
has.
to throw something? Want to throw something on the cloud? I point at like another coconut.
Yeah, Driftwood picks up the coconut, kind of like a baby, you know. Like baby's like, ooh. And Driftwood like drops it onto the cloud.
Cloud has a handful of coconuts now.
Driftwood hides behind Ernie. He's like, how would do that?
Like Sidon is putting a bunch of coconuts on the cloud now in taking your lead, and eventually you have a pyramid of coconuts on top of this cloud, and the cloud is still flying.
Well, seems like we have a means of transporting items.
I start taking the coconuts off. Or actually, no. I think to the coconut. I think to the coconut. I think to the cloud. Yeah, Ernie's like, can I speak to coconuts now? No. I think to the cloud. Can you drop those?
The cloud spins upside down, and all the things fall off of its back.
How does Driftwood react to
Driftwood
this?
like freaks out and is like, oh no.
I go to the cloud. Like, can you pick those back up? I don't know if the cloud can do that.
The cloud's a little bit perturbed, but then the cloud kind of flies down and kind of angles like its body and kind of scoops some of them up with some sand.
I point to Driftwood. Look,
How did it do that?
how do you heal people? How do you speak to spirits?
I don't know, I just channel good feelings and good vibes, and no, this is evil. This is all bad.
Driftwood.
Don't Driftwood me.
What is this really about?
In the background, I'm leading the cloud to the water. I want to see if the cloud can go underwater.
It's experiments going on in the background.
The cloud seems to have an aversion once it gets too close to the water.
Okay, that won't work then.
How am I supposed to trust something that doesn't like the water?
It can touch it, but you notice that when it touches it, like because it's made out of water, like it kind of like it's almost like it's getting like sucked into the ocean, and that's why it seems to be afraid of the ocean.
Okay, Driftwood, you can't see that Zaba's talking to you.
Yeah, Zaba, what are you saying to Driftwood?
Well, I asked Driftwood what this is really all about.
I'm very sensitive to all this magical stuff that we're doing, but I feel like we should draw the line somewhere. No, is it like clouds without faces that just carry coconuts? That's so. What is that? What's going on?
Would the cloud having a face be more reassuring or less reassuring?
I think the cloud not existing it would be more assuring.
We've dealt with various magical creatures or magical thereofs, generally they attack on sight.
Yeah, and I mean they're like animals, and everyone has been
Do
destroying.
animals attack you on sight?
Yeah, no, but I mean the animal world is just so much more contained. It's understandable, but this stuff, like things with the weather, this is like a cloud. This is like the same magic that Tang Kai is born from. This isn't. This is. I don't know. I don't know how to comprehend this. I don't know how we're so willingly accepting this. But I do have a debilitating fear of heights. So that part is true.
No one will make you get on the cloud if you do not want to get on the cloud.
I mean, what do you think we can do with this cloud?
Transportation.
To carry
Of
all of
items?
us? That thing can
No,
barely carry coconuts.
it seems to be doing just fine with the coconuts. No. Like the four-legged creature we used.
The
If you look
horse?
if you look in the back if you look in the background, I'm petting the cloud like a horse.
Is it like whinnying?
I don't think the cloud is no.
Horrifying.
Fine. I mean, you can keep it around. I'm talking to like Ernie. You can keep it around, but that stays outside.
You're
This is
afraid of heights, but this cloud just stay on the ground.
That's this cloud has not earned its way with me.
WWMD. What would Mitra do?
What would Mitra do? Mitra would, I don't know, like be cute and like I don't know. I'm not Mitra. But I mean Mitra is also, very comfortable. I'm I don't know. Okay? I don't know.
This is a being of water. Mitra, it would feel like this creature would be under the purview of Mitra.
You're gonna get me with the water thing.
Sidon's like, that makes logical sense to me.
We have one way of tackling fears in Tosu. Exposure therapy.
By tackling.
Reader's note: it is not exposure therapy. It's just throwing people into that situation until they get used to it.
I don't know if I
Do not do this.
I don't know if I like the sound of this.
It works fine in Tosu. Fear is just something to be overcome in Tosu.
I want to do a little experiment with a new spell I got.
Okay, yeah.
So you said that the cloud avoids water because the water will like actually start to suck it back in. What would
Mhm.
happen if I cast Cloud Call, producing thick fog?
You begin to cast Cloud Call towards the Nimbus cloud, and slowly but surely you begin to increase the mass and size of this cloud. And the cloud kind of looks like at itself as if it's like, oh, like it's like that scene in Spider-Man where Peter Parker's like putting the glasses on and off, but the cloud's doing that to itself. As the cloud gets bigger, you feel like by doing this, you too have garnered a connection with the cloud.
You fed
Oh
the
boy.
cloud and it likes you now.
Yeah, you feel like the cloud will listen to you as it listens to Ernie. And
It's already listening to me quite well.
yeah, but like more on like a
yes,
like a mental level.
mental,
Yeah.
yes.
Like the cloud feels really humbled and flattered that you are giving it more cloud effectively.
What? You're all in cahoots somehow. This is you've been hiding secrets from me, talking to clouds this whole time. Maybe we should just get something to eat, and then I can sort through this messed up, cursed cloud situation. It's lunchtime, which means every place will be open. We can get something light. I feel like something light makes sense.
Fried jellyfish?
Well,
That's not light, is it?
It's not
fried
heavy.
no, but it's not out of the question of today's eating. Maybe we can go get some raw fish. So yeah, over here we call it kini lao.
Yeah, so we're gonna hard cut over to you all sitting at like a picnic table.
Another
You have
picnic table?
Yeah, another picnic table.
Bad news.
How are we sitting? Who's sitting next to who?
Yeah, orientation.
Let's see, Ernie, where are you sitting? Who are you sitting next to?
Well, I mean, I sit down first, so it's up to you
Yeah.
both.
I'm just sitting far from the cloud. Like,
Oh, okay.
Okay,
wherever's
so
the
we
most
so
bring the
opposite.
cloud
so
with us?
Wait. So it's Ernie the
it's
Cloud.
Ernie the Cloud, Sidon, then it's Zaba and Driftwood.
Yes.
My like ass is on the edge of the seat though. Like
Oh my god.
Yeah.
just hurry up with
You
the
and
food.
the
You're like
you and the
diagonal.
Cloud are at the
Why is the
farthest
cloud
parts of the
sitting with
table.
Yeah.
us?
That's what
So
Driftwood is saying.
So rather, it's the Cloud, Sidon, Ernie, and then
Mhm.
across from Ernie is Driftwoods, and then
Yeah.
then Zaba.
Mhm.
Is there another
No, I
table
see.
where the cool kids sit?
The cool kids being the actual kid, like actual kids.
Oh, the actual
It's just Mel.
There's like a small table with the actual kids.
Is there room for Driftwood over there?
No, there's not room for
No.
Driftwood.
Okay.
We don't let
There
you
is,
leave.
however, an empty table with a singular chair that has a little sign on it.
Oh, for Scallop.
Yeah,
Driftwood walks over and like rips a sign off.
cool. You do so.
He comes back begrudgingly, and is like, "What's up, food already?"
The food comes out shortly after.
Without looking at the cloud, Driftwood reaches for the extra food and like kind of just takes a handful in their mouth. It's like, it's pretty good today. Well, the catch is surprisingly good.
I turn to Ernie and I say, "Is this what it was like with me and Driftwood?" Me referring to Driftwood and the Cloud's relationship versus our past.
Oh,
Yes.
I feel like it's worse right now. I'm not even giving them a chance to.
I honestly think that sometimes what you need to do to get
Uh-huh.
over some rivalry is to duke it
Yeah.
out.
No.
That's not my rival. It's not. It doesn't even have feet. Well,
So the qualifications for a rival has feet.
Scallop has feet.
What need
That's true.
does a cloud have for feet?
What-
Explain this to
What
me.
need does a cloud have?
I look at the cloud. Can you make feet?
The cloud kind of shrugs. The cloud kind of flies up. You get a sense that the cloud is confused as to why it would need feet.
You have to come down closer to the ground, and then you have to touch the ground.
The cloud like touches the ground, and like the cloud like visibly shivers.
Okay, never mind. Don't do that.
And the cloud's like as it tries to like walk, but it's more like it hops. It's like, yeah.
This is
Okay, sorry. You can come back now.
Driftwood. Are you satisfied?
Satisfied.
Can we eat?
I'm trying
Driftwood's
to.
been eating, and so has Sidon.
Fine. I'll take a seat. And then
You weren't already seated.
yeah, I was literally like trying
tore
not to
off
sit down.
this-
I did not want to like share space with the cloud at
You
all.
do like the electric chair.
Yeah. So I'm a little turned away, and I. Does the cloud have a smell?
The cloud smells like morning mist, morning dew. It's cool. It's like it's very brisk, very fresh. The cloud smells nice.
Okay. Driftwood says, "Cloud smells nice." I
The cloud
yeah.
the cloud moves from a slightly dejected to a slightly less dejected shoulder hunch.
Mm-hmm. Well, y'all should eat because the fish doesn't really sit well in the sun. So, bon appetit. It's like ceviche.
Nice. So yeah, you all eat. It's quite delicious. You all feel incredibly refreshed. You feel comforted. The cloud's just kind of nodding along. And yeah, at a certain point, Sidon chimes up and he says, "So what's our plan? Like, what are we doing now that you all are better? Are we going to go back to the mainland, or are we going to try and figure out what's going on with the village elder and Scallop, or
We must at least check out the libraries.
Mm-hmm. And we still got to look out for Tasia.
so we'll need to get a boat for later today to go to one of the islands."
Sounds like a plan. We should have a boat ready. I asked my friends who's like picking up stuff on the other tables. When is the Festival of Mitra? How close are we?
You all are 3 days away from it.
Oof.
So we need to kind of pack in what we're going to do here before then, because we should be here. Scallop is going to be here. I feel like that's a prime time for a confrontation. I know that's what we all want, but maybe we should be a little bit more prepared with knowledge before then.
Indeed.
Sounds good. The cloud nods along.
And you too, Cloud, I guess. Soda.
Shakes its body.
So, a boat.
So I propose then, I kind of like a tracing thought goes back to Beery. I was like, should we include him? Should we be going out with him, or should he just stay here?
I fear that, at least with Tasia, that may be a dangerous mission. But the libraries should be safe enough. Oh yes,
Sidon says, I can stay back with Beery. I can watch Beery while the 3 of you go out. I don't mind hanging back.
Okay, so I guess we're off to prepare a boat. I know my family has one.
How big is the boat?
It's usually just for 3 folks, so it's just me and my parents. Well, it's for 4, but anyway. We can find another one. We can go check it out and see what state it's in. I mean, we need to go back and drop off this garlic anyway.
So the 3 of you make your way back to the Driftwood residence, I suppose, the Beluga and Angler residence. There's 2 things that happen here. One, you drop off the garlic, and Beluga is very thankful and is going to start working on dinner because it's going to be a handful of hour prep. And 2, you learn that Angler is still out with the family boat. So you'll need to go to the docks to go see if there's any available boats.
While they were talking, I have now upgraded to sitting on the ledge of the cloud.
Yeah, the cloud's supporting your weight just fine.
Wow, I feel so safe on this cloud.
Driftwood's feet hurt right now. Driftwood's like, must be nice.
It looks like, I mean, there's room. Look how much room there is on that cloud.
No.
You can fit so many coconuts on it.
Ain't no room on that cloud. I assume we're outside of the residence, and I could kind of see my mom inside. It's like, hey, Mom, we're gonna go to the docks. I have no idea how long Dad's gonna be out, but if I know him, he's probably relaxing out there.
Yeah, probably. He's probably already had his catch. He's just soaking in the sun.
Oh, and then I mentioned too, I point out the cloud, like, because it looks like Ernie's just like levitating right there with the cloud. I was like, have you seen one of these before?
Your mom drops like a cooking utensil and then picks it back up. And she's like, wow, I've only seen these in drawings and like paintings, and I've never actually seen one in real life. That must have come from the old ruins of the old half of the village that was destroyed a while ago. It must have come from there.
Well, let's at least check out the docks.
As the 3 of you arrive down to the docks, you see that there are 2 boats. One is currently about to cast off, and Scallop is in it. The other is sort of like pulled up over the dock and is getting barnacle scrubbed.
Can we ask one of the dock workers or whoever is at the dock where Scallop is headed off to? Like, kind of like sidle up to someone and be like, oh, the Guardian off on a grand quest, huh?
The dock worker, she says to you, yeah, he's going out on his great hunt again. You know, gotta go hunt the Jelly Titan, I guess. He's heading north, though, which I don't really know why the Jelly Titan would be heading north. They're kind of big. The water is getting shallower up there, so...
Hope he gets stranded on the rocks.
You just sidle up to this conversation and say that behind us.
I mutter that. I mutter that from wherever I am.
Is this person sympathetic to Scallop?
This person just looks at you,
it.
Ernie, and she gives like a weak smile, like, I wish I could say that out loud, but you can, so I will solidarity.
Okay, well, it doesn't look like any of the boats here are going to be doing us much help. I like crouch low to the cloud. I know what you're trying to do.
I
This is
know
all
you
some
did this.
dream. All of the things that happened to my feet on the way here. Both of them just relaxing on you, earn their trust so quick. Soda, I'm watching you.
The cloud is kind of like shakes its head again. And Ernie and Zaba, you get the feeling that its name is not Soda.
I gathered this a while ago. What direction is the libraries?
The library is also north. Yeah, you can see the island. It's got like a big lone mountain on it, and that's where the sort of underwater caves where the library is. That's where those are. And then beyond it, there's like a few more kind of mountainous forested islands that are to the north beyond it.
Driftwood sees like something shiny on the ground and is gonna roll
Okay.
to pick it up.
Oh, roll for flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
It's kind of what I wanted, but Driftwood rolled a 3.
So what is it? What did you pick up?
It's just a rock, but it's kind of shaped like corn. Like a full,
Like a big corn?
no, just like a tiny
baby corn?
Yeah. But when they picking it up, their back kind of cramps,
Oh no.
and they're like, oh, and then they can't control their feet, so they end up kicking it into the docks in the water, and Driftwood's like, no.
Plunk.
And Driftwood falls back and lands on the cloud.
It feels very comfy.
Driftwood starts getting a little angry, but they can't because it's so comfy, and they're like, hey, what's the big eye? Driftwood like falls asleep and like curls up.
Zaba was gonna say like hello, but
Is Driftwood okay?
a lot of stress these past few days, these past few weeks. Well, Ernie, you think we should follow Scallop, right?
Yeah, it would probably be good to know vaguely what he's up to. Is Driftwood going to be okay on the cloud?
What supplies do we need?
Just completely ignores me.
Have we
I mean, you
gathered
all have
supplies?
supplies.
We have supplies.
Yeah, you have supplies and stuff.
I think this is a good time to head off.
Scallop casts off and begins to sail north.
Can I turn into an albatross and glide over to see where Scallop and the crew are headed off to?
Ernie, are you gonna hop on the cloud and follow after Zaba?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Y'all can like go like in the general direction, and I'll come back and give more specific instructions as to where
Wait,
we're headed.
I just need a reorientation. Who's on the cloud and who's not on the cloud?
I am no longer on the cloud. Driftwood's on the cloud.
Yeah, I'm
But-
taking a little nap.
Yeah,
Okay. And then, Zaba, where are you going?
all going north because we're headed toward the libraries.
Oh.
Scallop is also headed north.
I see.
Right?
Okay. I had
Yes.
I had the assumption that for some reason the library was like across water, and so I got confused there.
It
for a
is across
second.
water.
It
Oh, it
is
is
across water. Yeah.
So
We're
sorry.
gonna. That's why
You're
we're
good.
gonna use the clouds to go.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
Ernie is just confused about what is happening. Everything's happened so suddenly.
Zaba points toward the faint speck of Scallop's boat and says,
Yes, but you're not on the clouds. Are
"I
you
turn
gonna?
into an albatross."
I will make a note. There is room for 3 people on the cloud.
I don't think
yeah.
that impacts Zalba's decision.
Yeah, I will make a note. but-
Okay, I'll hop on the cloud. I'll tell Driftwood, hey, we're gonna be over water, but the cloud is gonna be very low to the water, so we're not gonna be high up. Are you okay with that?
The Tosu way.
Listen,
Okay.
I can steal a boat for you. We
The
don't-
other Tosu way. It's okay. Just long. Let me just keep them closed as long as I can. I'm sure it'll be fine.
We can talk about this later. I put the boat. I mean the cloud in medium gear.
Zaba, as you're flying high up, the water is so crystal clear. You see like the coral reefs and the fish just swimming through. You see that Scallop and like his lackeys sail past the underwater library. It's got like pillars against it and like a pathway that leads beneath the water. And so you theorize like for the library, you would go on that path and swim to find the library underwater. But flying farther north, you see a chain of islands. one of which has smoke coming from it. And where Scallop heads, you see that, and as you kind of peer down, you see that there is a tent and an elderly woman tending the fire. And that is where you see Scallop heading.
Can I go to the tent before the scalp arrives?
You're going to need to roll me a d20.
Okay. Roll for speed.
Yep. Roll for going fast.
Nope. I got a 2.
You like try to speed up, but the wind up here is like a lot to handle.
Yeah. And I'm not like familiar with it either. Like what are the
Yeah.
right currents to be hitting?
Exactly. You see Scallop dock before you're able to land. Are you gonna continue or are you gonna go back?
I want to find a perch and get a lay of the land of like what the situation seems to be, so then I can come back and better evaluate where we should be, where we should head.
So you find a tree to hide in and you observe what's going on. Scallop comes ashore and Scallop pulls out his harpoon and walks over to this elderly woman who has a knife in one hand and she is currently descaling some fish that she has caught. Scallop strides up. She's also taller than Scallop, and Scallop puts his harpoon down in the sand and says to her, "Tasia, I'm here again. I've slain another great creature." And the two lackeys on the boat hoist up the body of a saltwater crocodile. Scallop says, "Now, hand over the effects of the Guardian. Hand them over to me. I've earned them." And Tasia says, "You're looking in the wrong places, Scallop. Just by slaying creatures isn't just the way of the Guardian. You should know this by now. If you were truly on the path to being the true guardian of this village, the path would have revealed itself to you by now." And Scallop gets frustrated, grabs the harpoon, and hurls it towards her, and it digs into the sand behind her. And he says, "I will not play games with you anymore. You have no power in the village anymore. That's why I've sent you here. That's why I've put you here. I'm in control of all of this. So, gar!" And he kind of storms away back into the ocean. He's like, "I'll be back." Him and his lackeys sail away. You see Tasia let out a long exhale as her entire body is no longer tense, and she sticks like the descaler in the fish and just kind of moves towards the fire and begins to drink what appears to be some sort of beverage, some alcoholic beverage.
All right.
As Scallop sails away.
I will take flight and sail back to y'all. As I'm sure y'all are like, where the fuck is Zaba?
Yeah, the two of you have arrived at the underwater library island. It's a very lush mountainous island. The grass is green and it smells like constant morning dew. Lots of morning dew smells. And there's a stone staircase that leads under the ocean.
Yeah, Driftwood's probably back. Like they didn't have to be conscious during the whole trip, so they're glad that they're back on some ground.
Do you get off the cloud, or does it seem like I should have a cloud go onto the ground and just like drop you?
The Driftwood's good. They feel pretty rested, and kind of doesn't like how comfortable the trip was. Do we see Scallop's boat sail past, like in the distance?
Yeah, you see Scallop's boat sail past, and Zaba as a bird fly with it, and then after a little bit, like in the distance, you're able to see that. You see that from a distance, you see the small smoke on the horizon, and after a little while, you do see Scallop's boat sailing away, and you see Zaba in bird form flying back towards you, the two of you.
Driftwood stretches. Was like, there he goes, flying around again over the water. Fish bird guardian person.
Zaba transforms back and then onto the sand. It's like, I thought you were talking about Scallop for a second.
No. it seems like 90% of our conversations revolve around the Guardian. So, I mean, it's a pretty safe bet, I guess.
Speaking of guardians, I found Tasia.
What?
I point to the smoke.
She's over there?
Yes, doesn't seem to be in immediate danger, though. Scallop is pretty well irritated.
Is he still there?
Well, we just saw Scallop's boat go the other way. So I point.
Oh, we did.
Scallop's over there.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we're here at the entrance of the library. If she's fine, then maybe we can hold off. Maybe we can even spend the night over there with her, so we don't have to go across the water. So the library is underwater.
Yeah, so there's a stone staircase that spirals around like this mountain that leads into the ocean. At one point, when the library was built, as far as like the myth goes, it was built during the 100 Years of Sun originally. But then when water came back, the library was sealed and lost. And so people now swim back underneath to go pull out whatever writings they can.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want gills?
Me, I've been here a bunch of times. I'm okay.
I turn to
Please.
Ernie. Do you want gills?
I'm not used to this much water.
I give you gills. If I can use gills like that. For 1 AP point, enchant a small amounts of water in a container that you're holding. Spritz the water on a creature. They grow small but visible gills, allowing them to breathe underwater for up to an hour. This spell enchants enough water to use 6 times. I spritz you with water, and I spritz myself with water. So I have 4 more uses.
You said an hour?
An hour.
We
Library.
can make it. It's fine. But I think you should figure out what you want to do with soda.
Soda can
Can
stay
I give
here.
soda? Can I give soda gills?
Who has the jar, actually?
Oh,
Probably me.
As you all kind of make your way towards like the stone steps, like the cloud kind of like gestures to the jar and like tries to go back inside of it.
I'll let it. I didn't previously try to show the cloud the jar because I didn't know if it didn't like the jar, if it had been forcibly trapped in it.
You get a sense that like the jar is where it's like its home.
This is a pretty heavy jar, but okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I seal the casing, but I also tell like just tap if you need me.
When the cloud hops back into the jar this time around, when you just put like a regular like twine around the lid, it doesn't weigh anything anymore. It weighs as much as just like a cloud would, like as much. It's very light again. Like the metal band, you realize was some sort of magical binding thing that trapped it in there that made it really heavy.
Oh, that would explain the riddle.
The cloud seems content to just chill inside the sealed jar.
Okay, well, maybe we can read up on what the heck is that going on too. So we should probably hustle. It benefits us to get out of here before it gets dark, just because the swim becomes that much more dangerous. So we should start this.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool,
how does
okay.
Ernie get into the water? Knowing even though you know you have gills, but still.
Again, this time, similar to the canoe, I watched Driftwood. I wait until Driftwood steps into the water, and then I put one foot in.
So Driftwood, I rolled a 10. Driftwood tries to do a dive like they always would, like stretches out and like performs the whole like, okay, yeah, just all right, give yourself some space.
I copy the stretches.
It's just arm. Ooh, they like crack their back in a way that's like, ooh, that's okay, right? And then they dive in, but it's not like impressive. It's just kind of like simple with all the what is it, performance they have done. Like the entrance does not match up to. It's like a notch above a cannonball.
Ernie watches that like, we need to dive into the water.
I rolled a 13.
Okay, I also rolled to enter the water. You go.
Okay, it's fine. It's a fine dive. It's slightly, but it's better than Driftwood's.
6.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you all tough choices for diving into the water. I'm just going to say your tough choice is that you made your tough choice. Either enter gracefully or enter with a little bit of pain. But not enough to hurt you. Okay. The 3 of you begin to swim down around this sort of coralled underwater mountain. And eventually you come to a pair of sealed doors. There's a lot of iconography here that Driftwood you're familiar with. It's like very Gyako-centric. It's a lot of sharks. But you do notice there are the occasional crocodile-esque drawings as well now. you are able to open the door and get inside, and then kind of there's like a drain system that drains the water that fills this room so you can enter the next room, which is dry. The three of you enter into the library, which the library is there's no historian that lives here anymore. They passed away a few years ago, and since then the village hasn't found someone to steward the library, so a lot of it is still kind of unkempt and dusty. But you're inside this cave that has been outfitted with shelves and scrolls and tubes filled with like just documents. There's tablets, stone tablets, and ink and all this kind of stuff everywhere.
This is all underwater too.
It's not underwater anymore. You can breathe. Like it's
see.
yeah, it's like a sealed chamber.
Okay.
Can I roll for flavor?
Yeah.
I already kind of know how I think the roll is gonna go, so I have something to. Yeah, I got a 6. When you say that there's no like historian, so obviously the historian would have helped with like returns and would have like. Honestly, this sounds like a very overworked historian. What, there was only one historian for this whole library? There's like not to bring your job into this, Kyla, but I bet there's like a whole backlog of like of artifacts and books that like needed to be cataloged and like put on the shelves and things.
That literally happens at every institution. There's always backlog.
Like in terms of like finding things, it's like sometimes you get lucky and it's like, oh yeah, like no one checked this out, and so like, but if you put if you put an artifact back like wrong, you're never gonna find it again. Is the kind of situation a little bit.
Driftwood notices is like, yeah, it used to be a lot more organized here. I think we were about to revamp the system, but a lot of the interns got jobs elsewhere. I don't think it paid that well.
Yeah. And Driftwood, you know that the village chose to get a guardian instead of to work on its archiving.
Right.
So that was another. It was like the wind sharks, but also it was between funding the library and funding the guardian.
Mm-hmm.
The guardian.
Driftwood,
yeah.
Driftwood's very salty about this. But they're like, I mean, we all pretty much accept around here that it's communal, but you're still going to get your riffraff that doesn't respect this place. Hopefully we don't run into any on our way out.
There's posters that say, please please put the books right back where you found them.
Yeah.
The poster falls down.
It falls down to reveal the other poster says, please put items on the on when you take them out, please put them on the carts, assuming that there was a historian so that they could tally the use of the library. So that's just a bunch of stacked tablets on like a cart.
Yeah.
Zaba turns to Driftwood and says, your guardian gets money?
Oh yeah. When it first was announced, a lot of people were interested. I was actually, I'm not going to lie. It was something that I was interested in. I don't want to talk about it. But let's just say that the initial offering for the position was pretty good.
That's not how it works in Tosu either.
I don't get paid.
Well,
traditionally there's a battle.
I don't know what's going on there either.
There will be a battle with this guardian if things work out correctly.
Battle of the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the three of you looking for in the library?
Tang Kai.
I think Driftwood is looking for a little bit of Noro general history, just to see if anything has been updated since it hadn't come here in a long time. And also if there's any tattoo history books.
I'm looking for military tactics.
Everyone roll me a d20.
Either from Tang Kai or
okay, so there is some
Tang
Kai related things. Okay.
I got a nat 20.
Wow.
Yo.
You should have been looking for Tang Kai, you motherfucker.
I'm looking for Tang Kai's military tactics.
You're going to run into another armory. I rolled a 15.
I rolled a 9.
It's a tough choice, I think. Maybe. Who knows?
So we're gonna start with Driftwood, and then we'll go to Zaba, then we'll go to Ernie. So Driftwood, you find a handful of parcels about the history of Noro and how it's like a collection of islands and a collection of sailors, and you do find a little bit more history about the sort of magic and the kind of like the cultural just like emphasis on maintaining those rituals and that practice, that healing practice. And you find a lot, like you find some like a small pamphlet that's like the collected myths of Mitra's time in Noro.
Ooh.
And you do find some parchment for some tattoos, some Noro tattoos that would signify different roles, different relationships, different achievements within the village. And the last thing you find is a parchment about how Noro has two guardians, the Evening Shark and the Buaya. And that Buayas are saltwater creatures, which is very confusing to you because the only Buaya you've met is freshwater. And that's where you're left. Zaba, you find the one thing you're looking for. You find a parcel dug back in the very back. It's sort of like almost disheveled. It's been kind of cast away. But it is called The Myth of Tankai, as told by Brother Sho. And here it is. I'm going to read it out loud. Tang Kai was a slayer of dragons. Having been orphaned by one such creature, he sought them out and hunted every last one, becoming Emperor Kang's first guardian. Wielding the power he stole from the dragons, he was unstoppable and conquered the realm of Mirios. When the Emperor passed on choosing Kai to become his successor, the Dragon Slayer climbed Mount Ida to demand the god's power. He believed that if he, a mortal, could bring the gods before the Emperor, then he would be proven worthy. Alas, Tang Kai became twisted on his ascent, becoming the very creature he swore to destroy, becoming a vessel of malice and greed. And he returned to Okara and destroyed their great city. The gods one by one sought to stop him. Tang Kai stole the sun from Thala, slew Banon and broke his spirit, and turned Uli into the wind. Tang Kai, now the sun dragon, became the only deity the world worshipped for 100 years. The heroes of old, Tongo, Eridus, Nisha, protected the people of Mirios. They founded different cities that were never united until the people of Noro, who had survived in the caves deep beneath the now shallow ocean, healed Mitra, who was from a distant land. Mitra took heed of the teachings of the four villages, learning their ways, understanding the beasts of Banon, and enduring the fire of Thala. Following Uli's wind, they journeyed west across Mirios by night and climbed Mount Ida with the help of the great heroes, and stole the moon, forged a blade, and retrieved a shard of the heart of Mirios. These three objects formed the Orb of Exile, the orb that Mitra used to trap Tang Kai in their final stand with the people of Mirios. When he was trapped, the water returned, while not 100 years' worth, enough to bring a semblance of order back to the world. With their dying breath, Mitra hid the orb on the western side of the continent, hoping the people would never find it. Alas, as the years went on, things changed. What was a small village known as Tosu became a city, and the surrounding nomads laid down roots in what would be called Alida and Kokuru. The people of the East remained. Their knowledge of what scarred the land remained. As far as the people of Noro know, the people of the East have lost ties with the people of Noro. Not even sailors of Noro who lives there. They do know that to sail to that side of the continent means wind shark territory. And this is actually dated recent, like within the last decade recent. It has like a symbol that you would recognize as like the symbol of Uli. You think that this person might still be alive.
You named who the person who had written this, right?
Yeah, Brother Sho.
Brother Sho. Would I know if there's an area where Uli is like a more common god to be worshipped?
No, but you do know that on the map, Jack had marked a monastery to the far north, an island off the coast of the northern part of the continent.
All right then.
So that is what you discover.
Can I add some flavor as to why I might have an easier time finding stuff in the library?
Yeah, go for it.
Should I roll for flavor?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's because Zaba doesn't know how to research.
I got a 10.
Okay. I mean, you can still add the flavor.
Yeah, so the flavor I want to add is that as Ernie's kind of wandering the halls or however this library is organized, I think that they realize that However, Tosu's libraries are organized is based off of Nosu. Noro system is based off of Noro system. Maybe Tosu has adapted over the years, has added their own. You know, they have a very large military section, so there's a little more detail in that area, or the weapons section and that kind of things. But yeah, I think that's what Ernie realizes as they walk around.
Yeah, so Ernie, as you're walking around in this familiar setting, you're able to quickly find the section on military tactics and ancient deities and things of the like. And not only do you find a collection of stories about Eridus,
Ooh.
you find a chronicle that details a character called the Great Dragon Slayer. You don't find an exact copy of this sort of like essay that was written by Brother Show, but you do find like similar like parchments that detail a similar consistency. And when you compare them to this sort of chronicle of the Dragon Slayer, you see like an account by an account, like a battle by battle almost chronicle of these sort of ancient wars that were waged that Tang Kai used to conquer the realm. And there's something very peculiar. You learn that like basically that whole desert at the center of the continent was once basically the entire country of Okara, and that those were all smaller kingdoms that were conquered by Tang Kai. And you learn that there's most likely some amount of ruins and remnants that have survived in the desert. And then you stumble across something interesting. And that interesting thing is another map. And on this map, it's not a map of this part of the world. When you compare it to the map that Jack has, you realize that there's a section of the eastern side of the continent that you haven't like that's not really well mapped out, and this map kind of fits right into that. And on this map, there are notes about an ancient city called Ong, and it's you learn a lot about how that the survivors of the 100 Years of Sun fled to the city of Ong, where they sought to build a utopia away from Tang Kai. And that, they refer to the Great Desert as the Dragon Sands, and that the people that are from there continue to trade with this great city. And that the city is ruled by one of the last true guardians of the realm. Which they have a picture of it, and it's a giant hawk, which you're a little confused by, but it kind of makes sense. And this is all, a lot of these writings, you start to notice, Ernie, that they're all from this one monastery. The monastery that you theorize is the one that Jack has marked on your map. They're all from this same monastery of like brothers that have been kind of collecting these notes and kind of like bringing them here to this library. You get a sense that this library probably has influenced a lot of other libraries across the realm, and that whoever had been here last most likely was using this library as a way to safeguard records that they didn't want to have fall into the wrong hands, which is the sort of with your natural 20 on roll for flavor.
Or no, natural 20 on the roll for...
Oh, on the roll to for looking for things. You find a crystal that hums with power. And you theorize that the writings, they keep talking about this heart of Mirios, a shard of the sky, like Tang Kai saw his reflection in the heart of Mirios. You see your reflection clear as day in this exquisitely like perfect clear crystal shard that you find that hums with power, that you realize this is a shard of the sky. This is a shard of the heart of Mirios, a like crystallized comet that crash landed at the center of the continent on Mount Ida, and you have a fragment of it now. And that is what you find in the library. I'm assuming the three of you reconvene at a certain point.
Yeah. I show the crystal to the cloud.
the cloud kind of gets fuzzy and like an ooh ah kind of energy.
And then I show the shard to you both.
Driftwood and Zaba, this magic that radiates from this crystal feels very familiar to the two of you.
Driftwood's kind of looking at the real estate on their body for new tattoos, but then is pulled into the radiant glow of the crystal. Wait, where did you find that?
It was in the back in the vault. Looks like people they left the door a little ajar. It kind of looks like the wall. It kind of blends in if you're not paying close attention.
The
But
crystal
Tosu has a couple of vaults too.
Oh,
No, the vault.
the vault.
Yeah, so Driftwood gets uneasy again, and I was like, "You keep taking things. This feels
I can
weird.
put it back if you want.
I don't know. It feels like I'm like trapped in some sort of story. But anyway,
Do you hear like a little da 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 da? This was added to your inventory.
did you hear that?
Yep.
It's just me. I don't know.
No?
Maybe there's fumes in here or something. But I swear I felt that. I felt that in the lake when we were going to Odysseus.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, these are shards. Was there another shard in the lake? Is that what you're saying?
We don't have it. But
I believe there was.
it's an unmistakable feeling. Does can Driftwood confirm with their sense magic that it's like the same feeling?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
able to confirm that this is the same exact feeling.
Oof. Driftwood's kind of paces around and is like, I feel like we're making ourselves a bigger target by accumulating these items, but I'd rather something that powerful and unknown be in our hands than other people's. You okay with keeping that?
I plonk it inside the clouds jar.
I too found something, and I share with you two the legends, and I point out the name of the person, and I say, I believe we may find this person. I take Ernie's map again. Wait, no, it's my map. I take out my map. I take Ernie's map and realize it's a map of Noro, and I give it back, and I take my map out, and I point
Ernie
out.
has two maps, but
Oh, you have two maps? But yours is of the Eastern. I take the wrong map, and I'm like, I don't know what this
that
map
was for
is.
later. I'll explain that later.
Oh, okay. And I take my map out, and I point to the monasteries, and I say, we may find this individual. I want to know how they found this information. This is a new entry, and this is a much more recent entry than I thought we would find.
We actually get very few visitors from the monasteries to the north, but we've had them. They don't come here unless they need something. I mean, similar to our journey back here, in case they needed something grave. But yeah, I don't remember the last time we saw one of the monks. So I don't know. No one's keeping track on the library, clearly. So
the visitor book is in shambles.
yeah, like all the names are signed like off of the page. And it's like kind of ripped and there's like a coffee stain on it. I mean, you could check out the visitor's log.
Can I look at the visitor's log, Derek?
Yeah.
Flip back to a time when it was maybe better managed.
It's like in a bunch of different languages too.
I interrupt and also like look for my old names. Like, wait, go back.
Yeah. You see like names of Driftwood. Like you see Driftwood's name pop up, and then you see like when it was like Driftwood's parents writing versus Driftwood writing as like a kid. You see like various other names from Driftwood's family, like Aunt Jasmine. Like great grandmother Lapula. Like paternal great grandfather Daranak. You see Chips. There's a handful of entries of someone named Chips.
Chips is such a nerd.
And then a handful of people named like Yellowfin, Gulliver, Fisk, Tremolo. Lots of family names that Driftwood points out belong to their family.
You never see Scallop's name.
Yeah, I was like, the person you're not going to find in here is Scallop.
Yep, you never see Scallop's name. Like, you see a bunch of like kids' names. You see Tasia's name a few times in there. You see Kurum's name is in here from like a long time
Oh.
ago.
Mm.
And scrolling back far enough, you do see Goro's name here as well as Laura's name. And Zoran, you see Zoran's name. Probably the most concerning name you see is Atreus' name. About
Gross.
15 years ago.
Gross.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At least he signed his name.
Yeah, and you see a little imprint of the twin serpent ring.
Wow.
God, it's so
Yeah.
extra.
I can just
know.
imagine like oh can you sign in, and Atreus is like, oh yes, of course, and like it does the stamp and it's like
Yep,
Mhm.
definitely uses their own quill too.
yeah, oh let me just get my things. Oh
Yeah.
Driftwood starts signing our names on there. How do you spell
sure-
soda?
Just draw a cloud.
are you sure we should
The three of you get a sense that the cloud is like trying to make like either it's somewhere between an M or an R sound, and you can't quite make out which letter it is.
I mean it has to be Sora, like out of character.
No, I think it's sofa or soba.
Who wants to do the honors?
What if we have the cloud control my hand and then we see which letter?
Yeah, like a Ouija.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
you
Louis,
do
so
that.
cruel.
And
You're
the
like, all
cloud
right.
writes its name. The cloud's name is Sora, as
Right.
chosen by the party.
Wow, Sora of Kingdom Hearts fame.
Hey, what is Kingdom Hearts, that game you play with the dice? I'm in character.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, flashbacks to collecting various sticks that look like keys and running
Oh,
around.
yeah.
Oh, you played that in your village? Oh my god, yeah, it's so fun.
I didn't know that. I didn't know other kids played it. It must be one of those games that just travels around.
Yeah, we continually update the rule sets. When we got to Kingdom Hearts 3, it was kind of got kind of confusing.
Wow, we only ever got Kingdom Hearts 2.
It's probably for the best.
Ernie, you've played a variant of this called Fiend of Fantasy.
But we use swords.
Yeah,
It's a little more
there's a lot of swords. It's like who can, yeah.
Was that the one where you wear like lots of belts and like the swords are way too big?
Yeah. It was a fad at one time.
What I was going to say before this tangent was, are we sure it's a good idea to write our names? Oh, it's already there.
It's like next to a "we were here!" exclamation point.
I mean, Atreus did. Like, what are we gonna?
15 years ago.
I mean, look, all of our friends have done it. And also my family has a reputation, as I've told you, that we're very well read. So I gotta put my name in here.
All right.
Oh, Driftwood, yeah. That's the other thing you notice. You see that one person's name a handful of times in the book as well. From, a decade ago. But
I think it kind of becomes clear which name I'm avoiding. So as I'm flipping through, I like slow down, and there's a name that I'm avoiding, and it's Remora.
with that, what are the three of you going to do? You can keep exploring the library, or you can go elsewhere.
I mean, the 1 hour. I feel like the 1 hour limit is we're stretching it.
No, we're Kyla.
Oh,
I mean, not Kyla.
I keep thinking that there's water in the library.
Ernie. I have 4 more uses of.
Oh, okay,
of
never mind.
gills. Driftwood, is it ill-advised to stay in the library overnight?
I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, Driftwood kind of has their moment, and it's like, yes, anyone is permitted into the library. Anyone. And with the things that we have with us, I don't know. The only time I ever did it was an accident, and it was terrifying. I only was able to get out because of, and then I don't finish my sentence.
Well, it definitely wasn't unnoticed. The name and Driftwood, Driftwood's pause. Also, the mention of the 4 people in the canoe. Didn't miss that. But Zaba changes tracks and says, "Is there anything else we need from this library? It may be a long time till we return."
Driftwood kind of like is like, oh wait, actually yes, and runs into the cooking section, and they're checking if it's still there. They're kind of like, it's still here, is it still here? And then they find that there's a cookbook there that their grandmother had written, and they wanted to see if anything had been added to it.
There's one new recipe. It's for palm tree soup. It involves boiling various parts of the palm tree and the adjacent coconuts to get a sort of like
a curry.
Yeah, like a curry, and then you would eat it with rice. And they specifically mention, make sure to use rice from Kokoru with this recipe.
I didn't know Kokoru's rice was so acclaimed.
Neither did I. Driftwood files the recipe into their brain and is ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to go back up.
I look at Ernie.
Yeah, we can go.
All right, I spritz water in your face.
Please give me some warning next time.
And with that, the three of you swim back up to the surface. It's afternoon, almost evening. Sun will be setting. Like sun is starting to set by now. Where do you all want to go from here?
Would we like to say hello to Tasia?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And maybe we can make this. I don't know if she'll have access to kokoro rice, but we're gonna have some of this palm tree soup.
Do we have any kokoro rice packed in our
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I'd say so. Yeah. Cool. So the three of you hop on Sora.
Does Driftwood hop on?
Yeah, more willingly.
Okay.
Cool. The three of you hop on Sora and begin to fly towards Tasia's island. It's a smooth ride. It's honestly quite cool. Like, Driftwood, this is what you theorize being Zaba must be like. Ernie, the thought never occurs to you. And the three of you, I guess, like fly up and land on the beach outside of Tasia's hut. You hear rustling in the tent as Tasia exits. And it's kind of jaw-dropped to see you, Driftwood.
Yeah. Has Tasia like physically changed at all in the time since I've seen her?
Tasia, you've always known Tasia to be fairly like fit, because she is one of the best fishers in like the village. But more particularly, you notice that she seems a bit more weathered when she exits the tent, a bit more tired, like she hasn't had a good night's sleep in a bit. You notice that she does have like a wound that has been bandaged and cleaned and is slow and has been healing. But yeah.
Yeah, Driftwood, without a word, walks up to Tasia and gets close, and then like extends their hand out. And I'm gonna assume Tasia, takes my hand also. And Driftwood casts Relieve.
She seems a bit more relaxed as she puts her hand forth for you to take and receive her blessing.
I'm back.
And she smiles and says, "Welcome home, Driftwood," and hugs you. Dice and Pizza is Mya Worrell as Zaba, Justin Ricafort as Driftwood, Kyla Worrell as Ernie, and myself, Derek Aiello, as the guide. Cover art is by Gene Young. Theme song is by Itamar Ben Zimra, with additional sound effects by Brian Kim. Our next episode will be on Monday, April 4th. What kinds of secrets will our heroes uncover next time? Who knows? I don't really know, though I kinda do. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dice and Pizza for updates on the show, and you can check out the video or audio version of this on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. If you haven't already, drop us a review, ranking, rating, or share the show with a friend. Sometimes it's dangerous to go alone, especially when you're a hero, venturing through the world that is podcasting. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and we will catch you next time.